Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to pick up on a quite remarkable statement from our unelected Brexit Minister David Frost, in which he says that there are aspects of Brexit that maybe shouldn't be implemented or can't really be fully supported unless every single person agrees with them. In which case, why did we ever leave the EU? But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, more Brexit nonsense, of course, from the guy who brought us the Brexit deals, both of them, that damaged our economy and also implemented the Northern Ireland Protocol, David Frost. So in seeking to defend not implementing the Northern Ireland Protocol, which is part of the international treaty that he also negotiated on behalf of Boris Johnson along with the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, Frost has said that the protocol cannot be durable without the consent of all the people of Northern Ireland. All of the people. That's what he said. Now here's the thing. Is there anything, any system at all, any feature at all in this country or any other around the world that has the consent of all the people? I bet there isn't a single one. Even if you broke down the three, let's say you broke down the three most universally popular aspects of a country amongst its population, I bet you couldn't find any of them that actually had universal support, universal approval. But here it is. We apparently should just, is that what he's saying? Should we just drop the Northern Ireland Protocol then, that Frost helped to write, just because it doesn't have the consent of all the people? Then you apply this concept to other Brexit things. Just leaving the EU itself. Let us imagine that the UK stayed in a bubble since 2016, that no one died, just whether naturally or through the pandemic or through just Tory negligence. This was when 17.4 million people voted to leave the EU. 16.1 million voted to remain. And then a similar number added together, about 33 million, either couldn't be asked either way or weren't allowed to vote, either because they were too young or because the government wouldn't let them. Let's say they were living abroad and had done so for a few years. So even just leaving the EU didn't have the consent of all the people. It barely got the consent of 25% of the people in 2016, and we know that the percentage has come down since. But let's stay in our little time bubble of 2016 to avoid unnecessary arguments. So, back to that statement. A system can't be durable if it doesn't have the consent of all the people. Now, let's not split hairs here. Let us imagine that what he actually means is the vast majority of people. Not every single one, literally. We'll say that he meant the term figuratively to mean the vast majority of people. I'm fine with that. I'll go with that. So if a system can't be durable, if it doesn't have the consent of at least the vast majority of the people, then our baffling Brexit bureaucrat is basically saying that Brexit isn't durable, isn't he? Someone point out the distinction here between Brexit in general or any specific aspect of Brexit and the Northern Ireland Protocol, please. Because how is one Brexit system durable with at best, the consent of a quarter of the population, but another can't be durable without the consent of basically everyone, or as near to everyone as makes no odds? And when I say a quarter of the population, that's just for leaving the EU. Because then you've got each individual aspect of Brexit. That has got much less. The way the figures worked in 2016, a quarter of the population voted to leave the EU, a quarter voted to remain, slightly smaller quarter, and half either didn't use their vote, meaning they weren't in favour of either option or couldn't be bothered with either option, or had no vote to use. So take that quarter who voted to leave the EU. Now, they all did so for different reasons. Remember, the Brexiteer supporters themselves insist upon that. I get lots of comments on my channel insisting that. It wasn't just that they're all thick and xenophobic. There were a myriad of reasons. Okay, I can go along with that. So that means whatever form of Brexit you could imagine had even less than a quarter of the population in favour of it. Now, given that there was a quarter at least in favour of remaining, because we don't know about the other half, they either couldn't be bothered to vote or weren't able to vote. So a quarter at least were in favour of remaining. And there was only one form of remain, so we're not divided. We were all agreed on that one. By definition, the only majority that existed was for staying in the EU. Now, I don't want to be drawn into accusations of fighting old battles. This isn't an argument about how we shouldn't have left the EU in the first place and how leaving was a scam. I mean, that's all true, but we have left. It's gone. There is no more remain argument other than a hypothetical historical one. It's about where we go from here. Yes, I want us to rejoin. I am confident we will at some point, but there are steps now on that path. The option of going back in one leap has expired just over a year ago. But it is important to point out the nonsense of Brexit positions if Brexiteers are still going to maintain the same crap arguments. When it came to leaving the EU, we could have done what Norway did. I mean, they didn't leave, but in terms of the arrangement they have, that is, we remain in the single market. We have a close and productive relationship with our neighbours. We get no say in their rules, and those rules will, over time, diverge away from our best interests. However, if we adopt a close relationship, and because we'd be a large partner, we'd still get to influence a few things. We have no vote, we don't really get a say as such, but a big customer does get a say in the way things operate. And that was one option for Brexit. But support for it would have been much less than a quarter of the population. Some Brexit voters would have supported that, not all. Another option was what we went for, a very hard Brexit with, now I'm going to say here, a deal for trading in goods but not services, which of course is worth much more to us. However, the path we're taking at the moment, even the deal is not guaranteed. That could just be wrecked. We could still end up with a no-deal Brexit. We also pull out of almost every EU system, adopting crapper and more expensive versions of our own, which are also taking years to develop. So actually at the moment we don't even have them. We cancel freedom of movement for British citizens, thus making EU citizens living in the UK have more rights than we do. That also would have had much less than a quarter of the population in favour. Then there were various options in between. But each option, you identify each single option, and its support would just be amongst a few percent of the population. Because you're dividing up that quarter of the population of leave vote into the specific forms of leave, which was never put to a confirmatory referendum, so we don't know which one has the most support. Which means that really the precise form of Brexit may have a few percent of people in favour, but 0% of the population have expressed that preference because they were able to. So now back to the present and the Northern Ireland Protocol. Now, I can well see how there would be a large proportion of Northern Ireland not liking it, of course. But given that the alternative is wrecking the Good Friday Agreement, I think it's safe to say when you don't go with Boris Johnson's nonsense about, well, we could just get rid of the Northern Ireland Protocol and everything will work out. And if everything doesn't work out, it's the EU's fault. We live in the world of reality here. Your options are the Northern Ireland Protocol or a hard border inside Ireland. So I think it's fair to say that if it's that choice, at least half of the population of Northern Ireland would be in favour of the Northern Ireland Protocol. If not in favour, at least wouldn't want to see it scrapped if it moves that customs border inside Ireland. So half the population, at least, in favour of the Northern Ireland Protocol. Now that is much more than the quarter who were in favour of leaving the EU, creating all this mess. And way more than the few percent, proportionally of course, few percent who would support a specific form of Brexit, given the votes to express that support. So if there's not enough support for the Northern Ireland Protocol, which will have the support of at least half the population, if that's not enough support to be considered durable, then isn't David Frost saying that no aspect of Brexit is durable? Because based on the available data, and without bringing in any notions of how people may have changed their minds, support for the Northern Ireland Protocol is higher than for any individual aspect of Brexit, or even Brexit in general, for the population affected by it, whether it be Northern Ireland specifically or the whole of the UK. So is it a Freudian slip? Is Frost really saying that he knows he's embarking on a doomed project, but to hell with it, he'll be retiring rich and in the House of Lords before the chickens come home to roost? Who knows? I don't know. What I do know is that he's talking absolute Brexit bollocks. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.